Hey everybody, so we're doing a little garden update this morning. I'm in my Virginia Zone 7 garden, and as you know, if you saw my last gardening video, we have moved, so the garden situation is different this year. It's a little bit smaller than previous years, and we're just trying to kind of figure out the situation and what we can do. Now, I will say that COVID has thwarted some of our plans just because I'm not trying to go out and like shop around and look at stuff and spend time in the store. I'm just trying to figure out what I need, you know, get it and get out. So that has had some impact, but we still have been able to do some stuff. And so I'm excited about that. I'm going to show you everything we have going on. So this is maybe the thing that I'm most excited about. I don't know. Every little new thing is special in a different way, but this container herb situation on the deck is something that I have wanted for a really long time, to have a place where I could just have some herbs growing right near the house so I can come out here when I'm cooking and stuff and just grab things, and it has been so great for that. So I'll show you what we have going on. First, we have these two big containers. These were left by the people who lived here before, and they just had like some random plant in it, so I dug that up, I planted it around the house somewhere, and we've got some herbs going. So this one is our little basil trio. I've got some purple basil here, Italian basil, and then we've got Thai basil back here. And I just love this because I think the mix trio looks really nice. It smells amazing, like when you just run your hand through it. And it looks so pretty, even from like up above when I'm like in a room in the house and looking out. I love that I can come out, look out the window and just see the basil growing and check on it. It's really exciting, and again, it's really convenient when I'm cooking to just be able to come out here and grab stuff instead of trekking out to the garden and having to find things. And then in its little sister container, we have some perilla growing, and this is, you can see it kind of has these big leaves. This is the biggest one right now. The others are kind of coming along. There might be too many planted in here, but I just kind of planted some seeds. The package was in Korean, so I had minimal understanding of that. I used my Google Translate to like the little lens thing where you like hold up the thing and it like translates it in real time for you. That helped a little bit, but still I'm kind of just trying stuff and seeing what's happening. Now, we do have a version of this that's wild that grows around the house. I'm trying to figure out if it, you know, is good to eat, because everything I can find about it around here is just like, don't let your cows eat it, because if they eat this, it's bad for them and it'll kill them, because it's not like usually used in like culinary applications, I guess, here. So, but I still can't find out like, yeah, but can a person eat it? Is it fine? It's just like, don't let your cows eat it. So don't let your cows eat the wild perilla. But it's popping up now. It's taking a while to grow. Like, this has been planted around a similar time as the basil, but you can see it's taken much longer to kind of get the plants going, but they're really substantial plants. I mean, you can see how, you know, how that stem is coming up. I don't know, it's really nice. So it has kind of like a cross between like a minty basil flavor, and you can chop it up and use it as an herb in cooking, or you can use it to do like a little lettuce wrap where you put things in here and, you know, eat it that way. But I'm really excited to have it too, because this isn't something that you can find in stores very easily around here. So growing it means that I can have it and it'll feel, you know, really special. And I think that's one of the best things about gardening, right? You know, it's something I say all the time, that one of the reasons to garden is that you can grow stuff that you can't find other places, whether it's just different types of plants in general that you can't get, or specific varieties of a plant, like a specific type of tomato or something like that. So that's, you know, one of the reasons I garden, and it definitely comes into play with this perilla plant, because I can't find it other places, but I can grow it and have it really easily right off my kitchen and use it in my cooking. Moving our way down, we have these smaller containers. These are ones that we had at the old house and we hadn't used too much. This is a mint that I bought at the grocery store and just planted it in here, and it's doing great. It's actually even starting to flower. I had to pick some flowers off. Oh, you can see one coming up here. There we go. Let's see if it will focus on the flower and not on everything else. Are we gonna oh, there we go. So the flower's coming up on this, so I need to, you know, keep an eye on that. But this has been really nice to have, and I'll be interested to see if this survives over winter. I've had mint in the past survive over winter in a container, but it also really depends on if it's a mild winter or not. I'll probably put it close to the house, because that can help some of that, you know, radiant heat from the house, and we'll just see. We'll see what happens. But, you know, mint's pretty aggressive, so keeping it in a container is a good idea if you don't want it to be going everywhere. And then we've got some dill over here. So this is you know, there's quite a few in there. They're just coming up. And these, I mean, we love dill. It's, you know, it's great in a lot of different things, but then once it gets big, you know, too, it'll put out its seed heads, and we can use those to get the dill seed for pickling stuff or whatever. So that's growing pretty well. Now, these two containers over here, they're a little bit of a different story. So this one, I planted parsley seeds in. This one, I planted cilantro in. And you can see, we don't have parsley or cilantro. We do have a random Thai basil that I guess fell when I was planting these and fell in here. That's growing, but I think my cilantro and my parsley seeds just weren't any good. They were pretty old. I did a first planting and nothing happened, so I said, well, let me just plant all of these. We'll just load it up and see if anything happens. Nothing happened. And of course, because of the times right now, people are going out and buying garden stuff way more than usual. So there's no seeds left in the store. So normally I would be like, okay, let me just go pick up a random packet at the grocery store or, you know, something like that. But you can't get it anywhere. And I could order it, but I also feel silly to place an order for just like 1 or 2 packets of seeds. And then, you know, pay all the shipping and it just seems like a whole thing. So I think I'm probably gonna just pass on it. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm kind of torn. Like, I really wanna be able to grow that stuff, but it's like, it just seems like a lot for such a little thing. And especially with everything going on, I'm just not trying to do extra stuff, like run out to extra stores and really dig around, because it's just not, it's not it right now. But what I maybe will do is kind of dig through my seeds again and see if there's anything I can grow in these containers that would work. I was hoping that maybe we would see some more seeds come into the stores a little bit later, and then I could do that, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So now maybe I should grow more basil and just get that going, or I don't know. Let me know what you think, because, you know, we've got the dirt in here. We can use these for something. But overall, with the container situation, I will say it has been such a huge difference for me. I don't know how much you guys could really tell with the old garden. It wasn't like a million miles away from the house, but it was a little bit of a trek out there. And, you know, that every foot away from the house or garden it makes it harder and harder to get out there. So having this little herb situation right next to the house has been so wonderful. It's so convenient, but I also love that I can just look out the window and see how the plants are doing. I've never really had that before, because again, the garden was farther away, so I could look out there and be like, oh yeah, there's some stuff growing, but I couldn't really see the progression each day. But especially with these herbs, because they're so close to the house, you know, every day I can look out the kitchen window and see them, and every day I can see them getting a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. So I've really enjoyed just being able to check on them really easily and being able to watch the whole growing process really close up. So there's a lot of reasons I've liked it, and I would definitely encourage you, if you have a situation where you can do something like this, it's really nice, especially for the fresh herbs, because those are things that you just want to be able to pick and toss in your food, and to have them be right next to the house makes a huge difference. All right, moving on to the next garden area, because that's how the new situation is. Now we have different areas, which is new for me, but I really like it. It's kind of fun. So this is the kind of back shady garden plot that I showed you in the last video, and it has undergone a few changes. So if you remember from the last video, it was like covered in fallen leaves. I got those out of here, and I actually planted some stuff in here. And the stuff came up, but the soil in here is just so bad that the stuff germinated and then it wouldn't grow anymore. It's not a good situation. I wanted to see if I could get away with it, and you know, kind of build it up over time, but it just needs to be replaced. So I've done some work on the inside here, so I'll show you that, and we can talk about kind of future plans for this area. So this is where you come in the gate area, and we used some of the timbers from the old garden beds, because we brought all of those with us, and we've been finding different ways to use them here, and I used them to make this little like 4-bed pattern. So before, this was just like empty open space, which I did not love, because, you know, if you plant rows, I don't really love row planting for an at-home garden, because it's not great as far as surface area. It's not easy to get to stuff, and especially with this where it just has the one opening. And then I thought, oh, doing this little like cross-hatch, little X-cross pattern, whatever you want to call it, would be great. So I put in the timbers. I kind of set them in the ground a little bit. Jason helped me kind of measure it out, because this bed is not a perfect square, so it was a little weird trying to figure out you know, how to do it so it didn't look super jiggy-jaggy, or so the beds weren't like one really tiny and one really big. They're not exactly the same size because of the odd shape, but you know, it looks good enough and they're equal enough. So I put those down, and then I tried to plant some stuff in here too, and again, it came up, but then it just didn't do anything else. So we got some mulch. My father-in-law had chipped up some trees and limbs around his place, so we got this mulch from him. So we've put this in the path. Jason did this for me. So this is in like this, and it looks nice. So, you know, having these, when I put these in, this was good, but adding the mulch really defines the path, just keeps weeds down and makes it like a nice thing to walk across. And then we've got these 4 beds, which again, the dirt is bad and it needs to be dealt with. So the plan out here is to replace the dirt, which means we need to dig some of this out. We got to mix up some, you know, some stuff and put it in there. But we've had a little snag with that as well because of COVID, because COVID affects everything. So when we were trying to get all the dirt and stuff we would need to do this, one, there's shortages on everything just because more people are gardening, because especially when everything started, people, like, you know, same thing with the seeds. People went out and bought stuff. They're like, we're gonna be home, we need a project. Also, growing food doesn't seem like a bad idea right now when, you know, the grocery stores were really slammed pretty hard there at the beginning. So you can't easily get everything you would need to do this because people are buying it up, but also especially with like compost, it seems like it's really hard to get it. We were able to get some things from our local feed store, but they said that they're having a lot of trouble getting stuff because a lot of those types of products come out of California, and so, you know, there was manufacturing shut down there, and so that it's kind of slowed down the whole process, and there's a higher demand. So they've been telling me that, like, you know, every week the truck's supposed to come with the stuff and it just doesn't come. And it's been like that for weeks. So we were able to get some stuff to do the front bed, which I'll show you next, but we couldn't get enough to do the back. We got some of the stuff, but not all of the different parts we need. So I'm actually gonna call them today and see what the situation is and see if they've gotten any stuff in. But the hope is that we'll be able to get this prepped here soon, hopefully, and get what we need to finish it off. And then we can at least do some fall planting in this area and get something out of it for this season. But, you know, as with anything with gardening, it's always like a learning experience and figuring stuff out, especially in a new space. But then when you throw on all the extra stuff with the current world we live in, it's just added new things to have to consider and kind of work around. Now, as far as the front beds go, I have not really done anything. Jason did put some more of that mulch over in this one, but it's kind of been a like a wait and see what happens situation. So if you remember in the last video, this bed, basically it just had this rose in here, which is fine. But I don't know a lot about taking care of roses, and I gotta figure that out. It had that azalea bush in it, and that's basically it. But then this stuff started popping up. It was coming out of the ground, and like I said, this is a new place to us, so we're doing a lot of just what is growing there? What do we think that is? Kind of wait and see what happens and figure it out. So this ended up being these like lilies. They're kind of flopping over now. They weren't like this before. Let's see. That guy. So they're pretty, you know, and they're spreading and they come up and it's nice. I don't know what I want to do with them. Do I want to keep them? I mean, I love anything that's perennial, but I also thought maybe I could use this for some food stuff too. I just don't know. I haven't made a decision. That's what's happening. There's also this thing. Anyone who can identify this, let me know. It comes up, it looks like this, it kind of reminds me of like a bean plant, the way the foliage looks when it first comes up. And then it puts out these flowers, which aren't really much to look at. I guess they're fine. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Back here are kind of the first ones that come up. So, oh, what is it? So it looks like after the flower, what's that little, like, you see that little, like, dark pit thing in there? I don't know what this is. So if you do, help a girl out. But one thing I have put in these beds are these little hanging planter things. So you can see I've got them on these little hooks, and I got these delivered, so I didn't even have to go out and, you know, do the whole thing. They just came to the house, ordered them online. They are like this wrought iron basket thing. They got the little chain, and they have these coconut core liners, which you replace these each year. But they look very nice. I'm very happy, and we're growing some tomatoes because, you know, I wanted to expand the area I had, since we're not doing a huge situation. So we've got some flowers. These are some determinate tomatoes, so they should be good for the container, but it's my first time doing this sort of thing, so we'll see what happens, but I'm really liking the way they're looking so far. And we've got more over here. They're, you know, tumbling down and doing their thing, so this is really exciting. Now I do have to water them quite a bit because they're in this small basket. I did line them with some like the bag that the potting soil comes in. I saw that tip online, so I cut out a little circle and put it in there on top of the liner, and then put the dirt on that and put some drain holes so that can kind of help pool some water in the bottom. But you know, I have to water them every day or so, but you know, it's not too bad, and they're doing their thing. And then this is the real tomato situation. So you might remember this was here. I had told you about how one of these walls had fallen out, and Jason had fixed it, and like one of the walls was missing, so we had replaced that. And now we've made it like a little keyhole style tomato bed. So again, we've used some of the timbers that we had from the old place. We cut those and kind of made this little thing. And then these pavers were here from the people who lived here before. They left a bunch of them, so you know, we've got them. We don't necessarily have a thing to do with them right now, but we'll use them as we need them. So we made a little step thing. Obviously this isn't like a perfect keyhole bed, because normally you wouldn't have to step up into it. It would be like a raised bed, and like, you know, this here would just be the ground. But we're working with what we've got. We're being creative. And then I put the tomatoes in here in this little circle shape. I also have this kale. He's looking pretty sad, but I just threw him in there because why not? This plant almost died, but then it started putting out leaves, so I'm kind of letting it do its thing. But we've got lots of tomatoes in here. Some are doing better than others. So you can see this one here, pretty short. It's got some little tomatoes, but you know, he's not looking like anything too special right now. It's just there. But then if we work our way around, like these are looking a little better, a little bigger. Then once you get to the back here, they get really big. I mean, this guy is coming up out of the cage, and let's see, look at all these little tomatoes. Now I did get these planted kind of late, so we're not going to get maximum production, but they're growing, and we've got this nice little truss. These are Sungolds, and I'm so excited for them to ripen. They're the little orange ones, and they're so good. And then this friend next to it, also doing really well, looks really great. Come in the shade a little bit. It's getting a little hot out here. So what I'm not really sure about with the tomatoes though, is it does seem, so you know, we've got the little keyhole situation. It seems like the ones on the back side here are doing the best, and then they kind of get less and less good as we go around. But they all have the same soil, like we mixed it all up and put it in there. Maybe the light's a little bit different for those ones on the back side. I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense to me. It's also hard to know because they're different varieties. Like the ones on the front edge are one, the ones on the back are another one, and the ones coming around are another one. So it's also hard to know, is it just that like the Sungolds, which are the ones on the back, are just more aggressive, they're just stronger plants, they're just doing better. You know, there's a lot of factors involved, and it's the first time growing here, so I don't really have any other experience to go off of in this location. But it looks like we're gonna have some tomatoes, and I don't know that this will be the way this bed works forever, but it was just something we did at least for this year to get some tomatoes growing. And you know, as time goes on, maybe we'll add more beds around it, or maybe we'll modify that bed to be more like what we would want it to be. The other thing we have to consider is sunlight, because we do have a lot of trees around here, and so like, do we want to take out some trees or trim some limbs, or you know, just thinking about the bigger projects and the bigger things we can do to really change the space. But as I talked about in the kind of tour video, the first one where I showed you all the different spaces and things we have going on, I'm trying to be, you know, patient and methodical, and not just throw a bunch of stuff out there, which is what I really want to do, because since we do plan to be here for a while, I want to kind of think about it in a methodical way and really create what we want to create. But so far, just like having the plants in different places and it being a little more landscape-like and not just like, here's the garden, here's the plants, I'm really liking that. I think it's nice. I think it makes things more interesting to have these kind of little different areas. So far, I'm really into that. And let me know in the comments, what do you have going on in your garden? What's happening? Have you been affected by the times we live in? Has that changed how you're gardening or what you've been able to get? I would love to hear about your experience, especially since we're all in different places. Maybe things have been different where you are. So definitely let me know about that. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.